Well, welcome to It's an Inside Job BiteSize Fridays, your weekly dose of resilience, optimism, and well-being to get you ready for the weekend. Now, each week, I'll bring you insightful tips and uplifting stories to help you navigate life's challenges and embrace a more positive mindset. And so with that said, let's slip into the stream. Hey folks, welcome back to another Bite-Size Friday. This week we're jumping into the time machine back to Season 3, Episode 4, where I had a brilliant guest with Heidi Van Eldik, a senior executive at DHL. And so in this week's clip, we're going to explore 3 different areas: resilience building techniques, where Heidi shares her specific resilience building techniques that have helped her and her team navigate different challenges and uncertainty. We're also going to be talking about adapting to change, strategies for adapting to circumstances, emphasizing flexibility and innovation. And we're also going to talk about personal growth and reflection, and where Heidi discusses the importance of self-reflection and personal growth in leadership and in leading herself, providing her own insights into maintaining personal well-being while leading others. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's Bite-Size Friday. How would you define your own personal resilience? What is resilience for you as an individual?
I think for me, looking at my past as well, resilience comes from experience. I think I don't give up easily as a person. I push through. I set clear goals from the start. I've done so all my life. I've been very pragmatic about it. This is where I am now. This is where I would like to go. Not necessarily in a plan where I need to land, but more in steps in developing myself. And I think what I've learned over the years as well is I plan, but I also accept failure and to learn from that failure as well, and not to let it deter from my intentions. I'm a very proactive person. I know how to take care of myself, but I'm also my biggest critic at the same time as well. And what I've learned over the years is that I know I do better when I'm surrounded by the right people. And I think for me, that's really become a key element in my life as well. As everyone, I've had certain key things influencing me in life. I think growing up, I grew up in relatively a small town in the Netherlands.
Yes.
And I found myself in a position early on in life where I had to take care of myself and others. Felt a big responsibility early on as well. And I think the circumstances that I grew up in made me vow to myself that I would always be able to take care of myself and be self-sufficient. And in order to get there, to really push myself to be successful and independent. And looking at myself, I moved to London when I was about 17 years old. Later, when I was about in my mid-20s, I moved to New Zealand. And every time it forced me to build up that life from scratch again. I've always paid, for example, my own way through university, always had a few jobs on the side while studying in order to support myself. I think especially looking back now, that period abroad has really enabled me to build up resilience, be self-reliant, and at the same time put me in a position to create new bonds with people as well. And so I think I would say my resilience would come partly from within, who am I as a person, but it's also shaped by many learning experience while being thrown back into myself. And at the same time, always being proactive, allowing myself to fail once in a while, but be ready to pick yourself up again and keep moving forward. And find the right people to surround myself with in order to feel safe and create that safe environment.
And so the different environments, whether it's the Netherlands, whether it was England, whether it was New Zealand, and the different trials and tribulations that you've experienced through your life, they've formed a crucible. They've shaped you, because a lot of people speak to the idea of learning to accept failure and to moving on. But for many people, when they get hit by failure or life does not meet their expectations, and that it's like a punch in the gut, it wins them. What advice would you give someone to learn and to accept failure? What does that mean? How can they do that?
I think looking at myself, what I've learned over the years, in order to build experience, you need to learn, and you will make mistakes during that period. And I think the key point is accepting that it's part of your journey. Don't be too hard on yourself, but learn from it, grow from it. And that will make you a better leader in the end as well. And again, coming back to people around you, surround yourself when you're building your team with people who are smarter, who are more skilled in certain areas, don't micromanage them, but give them your trust. For me, trust and integrity, and those are the key words. And when it comes to trust, also learn to trust in yourself. I think that's been a big part of my journey while growing up and while developing myself as a leader, and trust to listen to that voice within yourself. And at the same time, and that can be quite difficult, especially when the trust aspect comes in, be open to other people as well, be vulnerable, learn from them, listen to them. And success does not come from you. It comes from, at least what I believe in, it comes mostly from a team and not an individual. And I think it's the variety in skills and personalities that are complementary to each other that sets you up for that success. And I think coming back to the coaching bit we talked about earlier as well, I've had several mentors and coaches over the years as well, which I think at different stages in my career, they were able to either be my sounding board or give me the ability to reflect with someone on difficult situations. And the main point there is they were never directly connected to either my place of work or my family life at home. It gave me a place to, as kind of almost as a third party to trust in and a bounce off with ideas and try the things that I might not necessarily try first time within the organization or at home. And I think that allowed me to get the outside view, and it still does, because I still am working with coaches, and it creates that ability to learn from a difficult situation. Taking the time to reflect as well on what happened, at least for me, it works. It gives me the right tools to do it differently next time, learn from it, and that allows me to grow as well and be more resilient as well, coming back to that.
And so when you're faced with you're confronted by some sort of adversity or a challenge that comes unexpected to your doorstep, are you in the present and are you conscious of your own thinking as you face that adversity, or is this something that is automated in you?
I think it sits within me, I have to say, but it's also something that I've learned to adapt and become agile over the years with as well. It's if something hits you, you have two choices. You can sit down and be really sorry it happened to you and wonder why it happens to you, or you can start in the action mode, which is usually me, and then afterwards reflect on, why did this happen? How did I end up in this position, and how do I avoid ending up again? But my first instinct always is action. How do I get out of it? How do I get away from it? And how do I fix it? Not just for me, but for the people involved as well.
You've actually sort of articulated very well what a lot of those clients that I've worked with, how they move forward, how they've climbed in organizations, how they've mastered different parts of their life, whether professional or personal. They get hit, but then they immediately start thinking, okay, how do I move through this storm? What do I have to do? How do I take the first step? What actions do I have to take? And that's what it sounds from you. And what I also hear is that you speak to being humble and vulnerable, that sometimes you can't fix everything. Sometimes you need to find a sparring partner or to find team members who are stronger than you, but who report to you, and that you can use their expertise, knowledge, and experience to help you through a conundrum, through a problem. Is that what I understand?
Yes, and I absolutely. And I think that was, for me, growing up and learning and moving through the ranks as well, is I'm a perfectionist at heart as well, because I thought I needed to do everything right and everything perfect, because otherwise I would fail and therefore people would see me as a failure. And I think the biggest challenge for myself over the years has been able to let go of having to be perfect and put that pressure on myself as well. And I think especially the situation as a leader I'm in right now, perfection goes pretty fast out of the window. If there's multiple locations, that many team and even more number of people involved as well, it's really had to learn to let go of certain things, start to delegate. I put the bar high for myself and I put them high for others as well. And I think that's been one of the biggest steps I had to take as a person and as a leader as well. Let go of perfection, create trust, and learn to listen in that organization, and learn to read, even if it's not spoken out loud, learn to read what people need and to be successful, and have them be successful within the team that they need to work in as well. I think that's really enabled us as well as a team to move away from that day-to-day operation and to move to a more tactical and strategical level, and really be able to focus the attention on the long term and put that vision out there as well, rather than run and fight the fires every day. I really believe we're no longer in a position at this point where we are afraid to voice our ideas or speak up, or also look at the personal impact something might have on a person while taking a business decision.
If you want more, why not go back and listen to the original full conversation with my guest? You will find the link in the episode in the show notes. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll be back next week with my long-form conversational episodes on Monday and the latest bite-sized episode on Friday. And have yourself a relaxing and rejuvenating weekend.